Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So to start off, I've played about 9 hours of this game, give or take, and what this game has to offer is pretty standard for Call of Duty. You have your campaign, your multiplayer, your Spec Ops, so basically like MW2, MW3, basic stuff. The gameplay in this game is a lot more focused on realism and like proper sort of gunfights. At least that was the intention. So running around the map, like a chicken with its head cut off, isn't really going to work for you that well in this game. Your ADS times, your sprint out times, things like that, a lot slower. Headshots are almost always a one-shot kill, stuff like that. So in other words, if you played the beta, not a whole lot changed. It's basically the same, except more maps, more guns, so on and so forth. So what needs improvement right now is low-level players are at a somewhat of a disadvantage, I would say. Just because some of the stuff you get later in the game is pretty crazy, but they're not at a huge disadvantage because of the M4A1 and the 725, which leads into my next point. Some of the guns in this game, like the M4A1 and the S25, are a little bit out of control. Currently, they are the dominating guns in this game. They are the meta. They are the only two guns that truly matter in this game. So that needs to be addressed big time, in my opinion. Moving on, the other thing that a lot of people have been talking about, and which regrettably I have to agree with, camping is the dominant strategy in this game right now. It is very effective to the point that rushing is almost there's almost no point. Um, I get that in real life, camping is that's how it works. That's what you do basically because why would you run out straight into the open just to get shot? You wouldn't. But for Call of Duty, it's kind of an issue. You know, there's always been a split between campers and rushers, and I think the rushers have had it their way for a while. Now the campers have it their way. So understandably, a lot of people are mad, but there needs to be a balance. Both options need to be viable, in my opinion. So what's really bad about this game that I will address, minus the stuff I mentioned earlier. The stuff I mentioned earlier can be fixed fairly easily. Even things like claymores, just make it a field upgrade and your problem is solved, as far as I'm concerned. But the maps are definitely an issue right now. The maps are pretty bad. So things like Piccadilly. Piccadilly is a great example. The problem with Piccadilly, it's a great map as far as aesthetic goes. I think it's a really cool looking map. The problem with it, it's too stretched out. I maybe this map would work well in like a 16 player sort of ground war kind of thing. I don't know, but for like team deathmatch and stuff like that, it just doesn't work. Or domination, it doesn't work. What ends up happening is one team or the other, typically the one on the crappier side of the map, they will get spawn trapped into oblivion. They will not be able to get out of that spawn. And that's because the maps are too big, and as a result, the spawns never flip. They never flip. It never happens unless you purposely go into the enemy spawn and force them to flip. Otherwise, it won't happen, and that is just fucked up. Pardon my language, but that is just so fucked. It should not be like that. So that really needs to be addressed. The current maps, I think they're doomed to be the way they are, but I'm hoping that the future maps in this game will be a lot better. That's assuming they're not already all done and good to go. Because if that's the case, we might be in for a rough year. Just some other things to comment on. The file size is absolutely massive. It is huge. So that's something you got to be aware of if you're low on storage space. This game is crazy big. Um, Now, as far as PC players go, something that needs to be talked about is you cannot play this game at all, to my knowledge, if you don't have an internet connection. As far as I'm aware, you need an internet connection to play this game on PC. If you don't have an internet connection, tough fucking shit. So I get the reason behind that. It's for anti-piracy reasons. I get that. But that is just such an anti-consumer move. Like, you're really just flipping the bird to your entire PC fan base, as far as I'm concerned, because you can play offline on consoles. So that's something I'm not a fan of, especially considering I play on PC. So now that I've kind of complained about this game a bit and talked about what I didn't like, let's talk about what's good about this game. Let's talk about why I like to play it. So the gunplay is it's amazing. The guns are awesome. The time to kill is perfect in my opinion. You know, the guns kick the way they should, and they're meaty and chunky, and they really feel like you're firing real guns. So you know that's a huge bonus for this game. And as far as movement goes, I know this is kind of a mixed opinion thing, but in my opinion, I really like the movement. I think it's really awesome. I love the super sprint. I like being able to sprint infinitely, just, you know, normal sort of jogging kind of pace. I love it. I think it's great. Weapon customization, camos, attachments, gunsmith, all that stuff is excellent. I absolutely love it, and I want to see that become a staple to Call of Duty, the gunsmith, because it's great. I love it. Before I move on to campaign and Spec Ops, I'm just going to talk a little about Ground War and Gunfight. So Ground War is pretty good. I wasn't a fan during the beta, but I have since changed my mind. I quite like Ground War, actually. Uh, if you've played Battlefield and if you've played Conquest in Battlefield, it operates basically the same. It's Conquest. The only real difference is there's no like destruction going on. You can't blow up buildings and stuff like that. So, you know, keep that in mind. Overall, I like it, but I can't say I would play it over multiplayer. It's just kind of a nice change of pace every now and then, you know, but at the end of the day, if I really want to play something like this, I'll go play Battlefield. So Gunfight. Gunfight is my personal favorite addition to this game. I really like Gunfight. Um, you know, for one, it's a great way to kind of test your skill and, you know, just kind of improve on your accuracy, your reaction time, that sort of thing. I think it's really good for that. I think it's a really good way for newer players to, you know, sort of adjust to Call of Duty if they haven't played it before, or, you know, even if they're new to first person shooters. I think it's a great tool. I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those things that it just, when I play it, it feels good, and I have a lot of fun playing it. But I will caution that it's become very sweaty since the beta. I queue into a match, and if I'm playing with a random, 9 times out of 10, the other team is going to be two guys with the same clan tag or some sort of clan name in their Activision account name. And typically they're the same level, so you can tell all they do is play this game together, and you get shit on by them. You know, you get absolutely shit on, and as a result, most of the time my teammates leave, which leaves me to fight them on my own, and typically that ends with me getting absolutely stomped on. So that's not very fun. I think random queuing should be a thing in Gunfight, you know, similar to Destiny, how they have the solo queue for that one competitive mode. I think something like that should be implemented into Gunfight, but that's my opinion. So now that we're done talking about multiplayer, almost 10 minutes in, let's talk about the campaign a little bit. So the campaign overall, it's excellent. It's probably one of the best campaigns I've played in a Call of Duty game in long time. You know, World War II was pretty close. You know, but this game just really nailed it. Like Barry Sloane as Captain Price, he is amazing. He nails the role. Like, he is so good as Captain Price. So, you know, kudos to him. Kudos to Infinity Ward. And you know, this campaign, like, it doesn't glorify war at all. It's pretty gritty. You know, you see some stuff that isn't really nice to see, but that's kind of how war is. War is gritty. It's brutal sometimes. So, you know, this game really sort of emphasizes that. So to finish this off, I'm going to talk about Spec Ops. So I was really I was really interested in Spec Ops when I first heard about it and I first started playing it, and yada yada. I really liked it at first, but I don't know. The more I play it, the more I don't like it, because basically there's a bunch of objectives you have to complete, and it's sort of a mixed kind of variety of objectives. Basically they just kind of mashed what you would expect from Spec Ops based off Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. They basically mashed it all into, 4 separate missions. So, fair enough. Not going to talk about Safeguard because I don't really care for it. It's basically a watered down survival as far as I could tell. So, yeah, moving on. Basically, my problem with this right now is that the enemies just never stop spawning. Like, I don't know, maybe they do, but from what I have played of it, the enemies literally never stop spawning, and it's ridiculous. It would be fine if, maybe if this was like recruit difficulty or something, but this to me feels about hardened difficulty is where it feels. 3-4 shots at the most and you're done zoned. So, again, that'd be fine, but you're getting swarmed by enemies constantly as you're playing this. And then you start throwing juggernauts in there and helicopters, and you just have no hope. You have no hope of survival. Like, the only way you could maybe possibly beat these operations is if all 4 of you are medics and you basically just grind away at it for God knows how long. That's the only way. That's not fun in my opinion. So, honestly, like, playing Spec Ops, it really makes me question if these guys even have game testers, because, yeah, I don't know how they would consider Spec Ops to be playable in its current state. It's far from playable. But anyways, to summarize, I do really like this game. I love it a lot. But I think there's definitely room for improvement. This is probably one of the roughest CODs we have had as far as launch goes. The launch was super rough. A lot of people couldn't even play. And currently where we are at with the game, it's still in a very rough condition. Just to kind of caution you guys what is going on currently. The game crashes a lot, whether you're on console, PC, doesn't matter. Crashes all the time. And even for my computer, it sent my computer into a reboot loop, which I've never had a game do that before. So that in itself was just downright crazy. As far as I'm concerned, that's just nuts. That shouldn't happen. Recording has also been almost impossible. I don't know what it is about this game, but it seems that programs that hook onto it, any sort of recording programs, the game just does not like it. So that has made things very difficult for me, to get gameplay and to make content. So that has been super frustrating for me. And as a PC gamer, I feel that the PC version has once again been neglected because, yeah, the optimization does not seem to be there. It's rough. And that's really unfortunate, seeing how good Black Ops 3 was on PC. I was really having my hopes up that we would see the PC version get more love, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case. The PC version is in a rough state. And, just to further these points I'm talking about, I feel that the game could have been delayed. I feel like it should have been delayed, to be honest. Like, an extra month or 2 of development would have really done this game some huge favors. So, but what can you do about it, right? It's done, it's over with, the game's out. Activision wants their money. So here we are. All we can do is hope for the best. I want to see this game become it's good. It's already good, but I really want to see this game succeed, and I want to see it become a classic. But in its current state, we're not quite there. We need some improvement. But that's really what all I had to say about this game. There's not much else I could say. would I recommend this game? If you are a diehard COD fan and you need to have it, then sure. But, be prepared. Be prepared for the problems that this game has. Um, if you're kind of a casual, maybe skip over it. You might not regret it. And, I would say if you're like me and you're a Call of Duty fan, but you also occasionally like to play Battlefield, this is going to be a good game for you because I find for my preferences, this game is very enjoyable, when it plays well. And yeah, I hope we see some improvements. I hope we get some bug fixes going here. I hope we see some gun rebalancing, some new maps. I think once we have that, we will have a classic. But anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe give a like, subscribe if you really feel like it. Give me a comment, give me some criticism, tell me I suck shit. I don't care, whatever. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.